Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and today let's cover a ruffling foot. Now, a ruffling foot is a nice little gadget to have. However, it can be very confusing to use. Ruffling feet will fit any machine at all. You will just need to make sure that you buy one that will fit the shank of your sewing machine. You can get one that's a snap-on, and you can get one that's a screw-on. Now, this is a snap-on version, and what that means is that bottom foot will snap off, and you can exchange that foot for many other feet. And when you have that, well, you can use any ruffler that is a snap-on. There are a lot of components to this ruffling foot to get it set up for the machine even before you start to use it. So let me give you a close-up and I'll explain some of the things that you need to know as you set it up to your machine. This little U is going to fit in your machine in that screw that sticks out where the needle is in. Just like a walking foot, that needs to go in there. This right here is the foot part. And you can see that little bar there, and that's where the foot is going to snap on. These two screws beside the foot and right by the arm will actually go to the back of the machine. And these screws will adjust so that the needle will go right into this hole. When we turn it over, this is the front, and this is what is going to be facing you. And you will see this little gear up in the front. And you can lift this up and move it over. And what this does is this regulates how big the pleat's going to be. There is a number 1, and that number 1 means it is going to take a pleat every single stitch. The next number is 6, and it means it's going to do 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then take a pleat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then take a pleat. And then the next one is 12. And it's the same as the 6. It's going to do 12 stitches, do a pleat. 12 stitches, then do a pleat. Then you'll see one with a little hole, and a lot of times it will have a star on it. And when that's put there, the machine is only going to sew a straight stitch. Now along the side, you will see a large screw. Way inside here, you will see some numbers. That is actually how deep the pleat is going to be. And by adjusting this screw one way or the other, you're going to be able to adjust how deep that pleat is going to be. Now the fabric will run through this center part here. So it's going to go here, and the fabric will run right along there. Now on the other side, you will find this little loop, and this is what's going to be facing you in the machine. That's a guide, so the fabric will actually run in to there. Do you see how the fabric is right in this little guide? And this is what you are going to be looking at in front of you. So the needle is going to go up and down in this little hole, and this will go up and down, and it will pull the pleats in. So if you put the feet together, that little bar is that bar. So the first thing we need to do is get that onto that bar. But at the same time, we need to take this little U-hook, and it is going to sit right here on your machine. Now I'm showing you on an old machine, but all machines will have this bar sticking out. And that's the bar that will tighten and put that needle in. So that needs to go there, and we need to snap the foot on. Now let's turn it around and look at it from behind. In behind, you will see 2 screws. And these 2 screws will need to be loosened, because what they do is they move the foot in this direction and they move the foot in this direction. And you need to adjust this in both directions until the needle will actually go right into the little hole. So you see that little hole? That's where that needle has to go up and down in that little hole. Once you know that needle is running up and down freely, you can tighten those 2 screws in the back. Make sure you put your foot down and test again that that needle goes right in that hole. If not, you will snap that needle and we're ready to go. This is now where you can adjust it. And there's the screw to adjust the depth. Now I have 4 strips of fabric that are exactly the same length. And I'm going to show you the difference between the 1, the 6, and the 12. So to load your machine, make sure your needle is up, your presser foot is up, and it is going to go in between the layers. So you can see it is in there and it's there. You're going to put your foot down and it is going to follow that guide there. Now this one is going to make a pleat every 6 stitches. Now I have it on the 12 and it is going to make a pleat every 12 stitches. Now you can see how deep the ruffle is right here. And if you want it less, this is the screw that you are going to adjust. If you want it more, you will adjust it more. So here's the difference. Here's the one piece that has not had any ruffling. This is the one that was very tight and it ruffled at every single stitch. So now this one has been ruffled every 6 stitches. You can see there's 6 stitches and then the ruffle, 6 stitches and the ruffle. Then we have this one that has had a little ruffle made every 12 stitches. There is one more thing to consider. You can still adjust all of these gathers by how big your stitches are on your sewing machine. It is recommended that you use a very large stitch. It works better with a larger stitch. Then it's ready to sew into any garment or anything that you want. Now once you have the ruffler set up for your machine, you will be able to tighten those back screws good and tight with a screwdriver, and it will always be adjusted for your machine, so you'll only have to snap it on and off. The other thing to do is do yourself a whole pile of samples and write down what you did with the sample, the machine setting and the ruffler setting, because then you are going to be able to go back and refer to it. And I like to keep my samples with my ruffler in a nice box because it is easy to be able to look at the samples and remember what you did. And if you have it written down, well, it's going to take the guesswork out of it. I like to do long strips of samples because I love to see that ruffler working. I think it's so ingenious. And well, it makes my life so much easier. I do not have to ruffle on my own. And it's perfect every single time. I do hope you've enjoyed today's episode on getting to know your ruffler and how to work a ruffler. Thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back and let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.